Hey, what's up guys? I'm at CES and this is actually the last day, so we got to see a lot of stuff, including a lot of TVs, so I thought I would break it down and go over what I think are the most significant, the coolest TVs that we saw at all the big booths. So we can go over those. I think there are about 5 that I think are worth mentioning, and believe me, there were hundreds of other ones from other random companies, but these probably are going to be the best. So let's get started.
Alright, now I don't want to make you guys wait, so we'll just start out with the best. First up, we have LG's new top-of-the-line OLED from their Signature series, the OLED W TV. LG has really been at the forefront of TVs for the last couple years, specifically in regards to OLED. And this one is especially cool because it is amazingly thin, just 2.57 millimeters. And it sits just 4 millimeters from the wall it's mounted on, so it's no wonder why they call this the wallpaper TV. That's what the W stands for. With it being so thin and being so close to the wall, it apparently casts no shadow, which means it's gonna look like it's practically part of the wall itself, or at least like it's mounted inside the wall somehow. Then all of that wiring runs behind the wall and into the bottom unit mounted below it on the wall, where everything is plugged into that, not the TV itself. So the TV basically looks like it's floating on the wall. It's pretty awesome. And it seems like the smaller versions of the TV are actually even thinner, although I don't know exactly how thin that is. When I was looking at them, they definitely look thinner than the big one. And for picture quality, it obviously looked amazing. OLED, I still think, is the best TV technology, and even though other companies keep saying that they don't get as bright as LED backlit TVs, I think the trade-off for OLED is definitely worth it. And the advantage of OLED is that every pixel is individually lit. That's kind of like the main thing. So the color black is just created by turning off that pixel completely, resulting in zero light bleed behind it at all. So that's why you get such great black levels on OLED. And of course, this TV is also going to be capable of 4K HDR, Dolby Vision, HDR10, as well as Dolby Atmos. You get everything. And LG also claims that this TV is going to be 25% brighter than the previous model. Now, does the image necessarily look that much better than the previous years? I'm sure it does, but I'll definitely point out that if you don't want to spend a ton of money on this brand new one, I do not think you'll be disappointed at all if you get one of the previous year's OLEDs. This is really, I think, for people who want top of the line, brand new, and want it to look just flat against the wall. Alright, next up, number 2 is Sony's first OLED, the Bravia A1E. Now, even though I put this as number 2 behind LG's OLED, I will say that this TV has an amazing picture that might be just as good as the OLED W from LG. All these TVs are a bit hard to rank, especially because I couldn't look at them side by side. Now, the head-turning feature with this TV, I think, is the fact that this does not have any physical speakers, but rather it vibrates the screen itself to produce the sound, which they are calling acoustic surface sound system technology. Though on the back, there is a dedicated subwoofer that also acts as a stand for the TV, so it's not like you're gonna lose any of that bass. But that also means they can't exactly get it as close to the wall as some of the other TVs we're gonna talk about. And that stand, by the way, does fold up, so you can still hang it on the wall if you wanted to. You don't have to stand it up on the ground or on a stand. And as with LG's OLED, the Bravia A1E picture quality is truly amazing. This one also does, of course, 4K HDR, HDR10, Dolby Vision, Dolby Atmos, everything you're going to want. Sony also claims that they're going to have superior image processing thanks to their X1 Extreme processor. Sony obviously has a lot of experience in the image processing industry, from their cameras as well as their TVs, in reducing noise, upscaling, that sort of thing. So this very well may have the best image quality. I couldn't really look at it, it looked great, but if they are as good at their image processing as they say, I wouldn't be surprised. I had no way of comparing this to any other TVs at the moment, but the Bravia is undoubtedly an awesome TV. There's no word on when this exactly will be out or the price, but they said it would be out this year probably. So I would say if you need the best TV that doesn't have to be wall mounted, this is probably one to look at, because it seems like the LG OLED W, you have to mount it on the wall. This one might have just as good, if not better, image quality, and you can stand it up or put it on the wall. Number 3 is Samsung's top-end TV, the QLED series. I should point out that this is not OLED, and I don't think it's a coincidence that they made the abbreviation look similar. The Q seems to stand for quantum dot, which is the technology that these TVs use. Now, just because it's not OLED doesn't mean that it isn't a great TV, not at all. And it does have at least one feature that I don't think even OLED has, and that is that this TV has 100% color volume for the DCI P3 color space. I'm sure many of you have no idea what that means, but it is actually rather simple. I'll try to explain it. Typically, when you make a screen brighter, the colors become more washed out because the TV has to introduce more white color to make it look brighter, which also kind of washes out the colors it's supposed to be. So in a normal TV, for example, if it tries to show a very bright blue, it would look bright but also pale because the TV's color gamut or color capability doesn't include the bright blue. But with QLED, Samsung is claiming that these TVs are capable of every color in the so-called DCI color space, which is simply a set of colors often used by filmmakers, so it'll be great for movies. This is obviously a huge feature that I don't think most people appreciate or even understand. That's why they kind of had a demo showing the TV getting brighter compared to another TV and keeping those colors. And it makes it difficult also to rank Samsung's QLED compared to OLED because neither, I would say, is outright better than the other. They both have their advantages. Samsung also says that a major feature of QLED is that it has superior off-axis viewing, so you don't have to be looking directly at the TV. It would seem that OLED definitely has better black levels compared to this and contrast, but if you care more about colors, specifically when watching HDR movies, QLED I think might actually be better for that. So moving on to number 4, that is LG's Super UHD TV. Unlike the other LG we talked about, this one is not OLED, and they're not calling it quantum dot either, but rather they're using what is called nano cell technology. And this, like the others, is another 4K HDR TV that seems to be the standard right now. The diagram they had on display showed that the particle size in these displays is just 1 nanometer compared to the typical 12 nanometers, which I guess is where they get that nano cell name. It seems that the main feature they showed here is the off-axis picture quality. LG mentioned that when watching TV, most people do not sit directly in front of the TV, kind of makes sense, so this is very important. Also, with the nanocells being so small, this apparently means that there will be much less light bleed between pixels, so colors aren't going to mix together and it's going to be more accurate. Though that seemed to be it. They didn't really talk much about other features, and I guess what they really wanted to focus on is that off-axis viewing. But then again, the Samsung QLED TVs do that too, and the Samsung ones also have that full color volume. So I think while this TV is great, no doubt, the QLED is going to beat it out. Then again, I'm sure price is going to play a factor in which one people get, so maybe if you don't want to spend a ton of money, this one might be the way to go. But if you want state-of-the-art, it seems like the QLED is going to be the one to go with, of course ignoring OLED, which I would say is better overall. And finally, number 5, I just had to include this one, and that is Samsung's 8K television. Now, unfortunately, this one isn't actually being released apparently. It's just more of a concept to prove that they can do it, but you can't deny how awesome it is. To put this in perspective, this video that you're watching right now is 1080p. That's 1920 by 1080 pixels. 8K is 16 times that resolution, 7680 by 4320, because the K notation refers to how many pixels wide the screen is, 8K, 8000. So 4K is twice as wide and tall as HD, and 8K is twice as wide and tall as 4K. So clearly I'd never be able to actually show you how good this TV looks with this paltry 1080p camera that I'm filming with, but believe me, it's awesome. And they actually had 2 of these. There was a 65-inch and a 98-inch, both of them using the same QLED technology that we talked about before. And obviously, if you were able to buy one of these, you wouldn't really get much use out of them anyway, because there's no 8K content to even watch. You might be able to find the odd demo video here and there, but as you probably know, even 4K right now is just starting to become popular. But I do think that this is an awesome trend. Since we had 1080p for years, it seemed like it was never going to improve, and now TV resolutions don't seem to be slowing down at all. So next year, we might even have 16K. Who knows? But I like the way things are going.
All right, so there you have it. Those are the 5 best TVs in my opinion. We got those ones from LG, Samsung, and Sony even. So hopefully you guys found this pretty interesting. I know it's a lot to take in, and it'll be interesting to see what they have next year especially. Seems like OLEDs are still the big thing. I think they're still the best, although there were some other quantum dot technologies like that nano cell technology from LG that is pretty interesting. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that, and I'll see you next time.